Speaking out against human rights violations is one thing, doing something about it is quite another. Will countries take concrete actions to punish China for its persecution of the Uyghur Muslims? To discuss this and more, I'm joined by a very special guest tonight, Dolkun Issa. He's the president of the Uyghur Congress, joining us from Germany. Mr. Dolkun Issa, welcome to WION. And I'll begin by asking you, how many Uyghurs are currently in the concentration camps of Xinjiang? There is no way we can have an independently verifiable figure.
To be honestly, it is very difficult to confirm the number, how many Uyghur in the concentration camp, but so far we know up to 3 million Uyghur are suffering in the concentration camps.
We've been covering this issue for some years now, and there's a lot that has been written about these concentration camps, but no one really knows what happens there. Have you spoken to survivors? What do they tell you about what happened with them and their families in these Chinese concentration camps?
Well, according to the camp survivor testimonies, Uyghur faced torture, humiliation, forced medications, sexual assault, and deaths in the camps, and also indoctrination of the Uyghur people, and forced to them renounce national identity and religious identity, and also express loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party and show the loyalty president of the Xi Jinping.
China has always had an uncomfortable relationship with any religion, but the case of Uyghurs is extreme. Why is China persecuting these people? Is Xi Jinping insecure when it comes to minorities?
Yes, Xi Jinping, of course, not only targeting to the Uyghurs, Xi Jinping targeting Tibetan, so the Mongolian people and the Hong Kongs as well. Whole the world has witnessed what's happening in the Hong Kong, and Chinese government has never kept the promise, and no, it's the Hong Kong autonomy is over. So Xi Jinping is the enemy not only for the Uyghurs. Xi Jinping is the enemy for the Tibetan, Uyghur, Mongol, and all other ethnic people in China, and also enemy also Hong Kong's people. Even we can say Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping now is being enemy the whole global democracy and global human rights. Today's global democracy and human rights and some countries' sovereignty and threatened and by the Chinese Communist Party under leadership of Xi Jinping.
The world is finally waking up to the plight of the Uyghurs. A lot of countries are speaking up against China. But no country seems to be doing a lot beyond talking. Nobody is taking any concrete actions against China.
Yes, we can say finally the world can wake up, but not good enough. We cannot say whole the world wake up. No, still so many countries, so many nations still stand with China, support China.
And this is something that we've highlighted on this channel and on this show. The case of the Muslim world in particular, they've not said anything about the genocide of Muslims in China. Pakistan's Imran Khan remains quiet. Turkey is in fact sending back Uyghurs to China. Why is all of this happening according to you?
Yes, unfortunately, most of the Muslim world continue silent. There is a different of reason. One of the important reason is economic interest. So many Muslim countries have a very close economic ties with China, and the second reason also they have also quite a lot of human right violations in this country. So that's why they are set up coalition with China, support each other.
Xi Jinping has been in power for 7 years now. He's being called the president for life now. What are your views on this Chinese leader?
Well, Xi Jinping is the communistic leader. He is the biggest dictator today. And he, as I said, he is not only the dictator for the Chinese people, Tibet people, Uyghur people. He is a dangerous man for the whole human being. He is the biggest dictator, and he is the biggest killer because, you know, Chinese Communist Party is the biggest terrorist organization around the world. So far, during the Cultural Revolution time, Mao Zedong killing more than 48 million Chinese people.
What do you make of his strategy? He's picking up wars with neighbors. There are a lot of external conflicts. There are issues within the country. There are trade wars. There are floods. What, according to you, is Xi Jinping's strategy?
Well, Xi Jinping is the dictators. All the dictators have a same strategy, because there is never accept the democracy, never accept the respect of human rights, and all democracy and all human beings have witnessed the difference of the dictator like Xi Jinping.
You mentioned democracy, sir. China cracked down on a pro-democracy movement in 1989, but this is 2020. The world is watching, and most people say that a Tiananmen Square-like incident cannot be repeated. Do you believe that Beijing can repeat something like this in this day and age?
Well, if Xi Jinping and if the world not wake up and nobody and say stop to China, no international setups, international coalition and against the dictator regime, then is the Tiananmen massacre will be happen again in China. Yeah, today is the 21st century, and Xi Jinping in front of the whole world located up 3 million Uyghurs and killed so many people, and brainwashing never again is what's happening again. And the Chinese Communist parties has no limitation, no stop limitation, no red line. Continue. If you respect, if you trust the Chinese Communist regime, then Chinese Communist regime has never stopped. It is our experience.
But there are still some countries that believe in this Chinese lie.
If the world today, some countries continue believe the Chinese liar, and the Build the Road initiative. Chinese government Build the Road initiative project is the mostly territorial expanding project of the Chinese government. But some countries continue believe, and this Build the Road initiative brings some benefit for this nation, this country. But from our experience, this kind of liar of the Chinese government never keeps the promise. Hong Kong's experience is clearly shows how the Chinese real face.
Dolkun, you've been living in Germany for many years now. Do you think that in your lifetime you'll ever be able to go back home to China?
No, I cannot. I left my country in 1994 because I was a students' leaders. Students demonstration 1988, but I was house arrested under 1994. I left my country. Since then, I have never been returned to my country. But since 26 years, I have never seen my parents, brother, sister, and the friends. And last 2018, my mother died in the concentration camp. This year, I got second heartbreaking news. My father died. Died, but I don't know when he was passed away. Even I don't know where is my father's cemetery is. This is the situation. And it is just an example. So quite a lot of Uyghurs and all the Uyghur activists have a similar situation now. At the moment, I cannot return, but I believe one day I will be returned to my home, and I strongly believe one day. And I will be freely go back my country.
Do you think this will happen under the leadership of Xi Jinping? Your return?
Yes, during the Xi Jinping time, this kind of freedom will not be coming. But I strongly believe that such a dictatorial regime not will be forever. Human beings have been witnessed so many dictators: Stalin regime, Hitler regime, some other Ceausescu regime, but this old regime is gone already. Now is only Xi Jinping, Chinese CCP regime exists. I know a billion of the Chinese people also suffering today. So I believe such kind of dictatorial regime should not be for long.
Mr. Dolkun, thank you very much for joining us on Gravitas. That was the president of the Uyghur Congress, joining us live from Germany.